we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah, talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why ain't no me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
Nobody knows why liars lie. Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. It's God's side and the other side. Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Uber cabbage and look like Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't want to be a movie star.
No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act. Cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie. And you gotta tell him no. Sid ain't got no special, you remember. Eve ain't got no special, you remember. Ricky ain't got no special, you remember. Sir, I have 12 comedy specials. P. Diddy or whoever you is. TVJ, 20 of them. I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. Rubble on top of rubble and I'll still be bombing. Look like a wall, Richie. Look like a wall. You didn't say no. Look like a wall, Richie. Look like a wall. You didn't say no.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get those likes up. Please like and share. Don't forget, it doesn't cost you a single thing. Okay, so let's get into it. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, so let's see who's in here. Carl Kilcrease is here. Juju said, let's get black into it, Queen. All right, Nessie X, Queen Sam. Luna is here. Dolly. All right, Courtney J. Said, hey, Queen, sell me that oil. I want to glisten like you. It's coming soon, beloved. Just give me another month or so, okay? I promise. All right. Ben Cephas is in the house. Deron Walker, all hell no. Okay, Terry Jones, I see you. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Sometimes my moderators are at their jobs and they're still in here helping us in the chat, okay? So I appreciate them. Okay, so let's get into it. The Crow 1233 is here. All right, Wavy though. So let's get this party started, Stacey Quitton. All right. So once in the chat, if you have seen the movie by Lee Daniels, The Deliverance, once in the chat, if you have seen that movie already. Once in the chat. Juju said the Queen is Queen, and thank you, beloved. Okay, I see a couple of ones. Okay, see some twos. Hey, Jeff ATL, Claudette's in the house. Jane Edward. All right. God inside me. I like that name. Lions the baby. Okay, so some of you have seen it. Okay, so let's talk about it. Now, listen, I don't really want to give too many spoiler alerts, but what I will say is this movie is based on a true story, for those of you who don't know, and that movie is about the Ammons family from Gary, Indiana, and the home that they once lived in was deemed the demon house. Now, this story was very scary. The movie, not so much. The movie wasn't really that scary to me, although I did think the movie was pretty good, but the movie was not that scary. And I think that the reason it wasn't scary is because Lee Daniels was scared when he was making it. That's what I assess from just hearing him talk about it, things that he said. Okay, so we're going to get into that. But I'm trying to think. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Because I actually talked about this story twice on my other channels. I talked about it when I used to be on my paranormal channel. I did a whole video about it. That was like 3 years ago, okay, when I was early on YouTube, like 3 or 4 years ago. And then also I talked about it even more recently on my spiritual channel. When I saw the trailer of the movie Deliverance, I said, I bet you that's about the Ammons family, okay? And so that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. So I'm going to show some clips from where I talked about it so you can hear the real story because it's scarier than this one. Okay, but we're going to do that last, I think. Okay, so let's get those likes up. Everyone, please get the likes up. Thank you in advance. So, and now Lee Daniels was saying that, you know, he's spiritual. He knows a lot. He knows some things about spirituality. I'm not going to say he knows a lot, but he does know some things about spirituality. And I'm going to let you all hear the interview that he and the cast did, but also an interview clip from where Lee Daniels talked about the movie himself. Okay, you know, some of the things that happened when they were making it and all of that. So I'm going to pull that up and I'm going to play the audio, not going to show the entire video. And also for those of you, let me go ahead and drop the link for those of you who follow my backup channel, because we will be live on there right after this at about 10 after 10. And that all being said, there's a whole lot of interesting news. There was a school shooting here in Georgia that left 4 people dead, 2 students and 2 teachers, unfortunately. That's breaking news. We're going to talk about that. Also, Fonnie Willis, the DA here in Fulton County, that was going through all of the interrogation about her relationship with Nathan Wade. Well, something interesting happened. Her daughter was arrested, and guess who showed up at the scene with her? Okay, Nathan Wade. So we're going to talk about that, and I have the body cam footage. Okay, so tune in for that, and I'm dropping the link right now so you don't miss it. Okay, so let's get ready to listen to what Lee Daniels says about this movie, and then we'll hear from the cast. Lights up, everyone, please. Like and share. Here we go. Give me just a second to get this cued. Okay, give me just a second, beloveds. I'm trying to remember which email I sent it to. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
I love the film, so congratulations on the Deliverance. Now, the film is based on the experiences of LaToya Ammons. Did you speak with her or her family as part of your preparation?
I did. I spoke to her maybe twice, at least once. I didn't really want to speak too much to her or to get to know her that well. I wanted to do my own interpretations of the story. So I watched her documentary, and then I looked at the court documents, and then I just watched a lot of her interviews that she'd done, and the social worker before doing my own take on it.
Let me say this. Another reason why Lee Daniels didn't want to meet that woman, pay attention, because I read this in an article where he was speaking about it also. He basically said that he didn't want to meet that woman because of, he didn't come out and say it, but in a roundabout way, basically because he thought maybe those demons were still attached to her. Okay, maybe those demons were still attached to her. So he really didn't want to get close with her. He spoke to her once or twice just to find out a couple of things, but he did not want to have a personal meeting with her. Okay, so please pay attention.
Back in when the movie was offered to me during Precious Times, didn't want me to do it because she really didn't want those demons on me. She believes in it. I believe in it too, that, you know, I'm an open, knowing how I direct, I'm an open portal. She just didn't want that negativity coming towards me. But I think that we're in dark times right now, very dark times. And I think now more than ever, we need to find our higher power. And for me, it was about finding, and also we need to believe a Black woman when she says that this is happening. And I think even with Kamala now, we see there's no belief. It's interesting, you know? So I believe that
I'm sorry, but there's no belief in Kabami because she's a liar who lies. But let's continue.
It's very timely for right now.
Now, the casting is also stellar. You reunited with your long-term friend Monique, who won an Oscar for Precious, which you also directed. What do you feel makes the two of you such a great dynamic duo in working together?
We're both nuts. I don't know. She's like my little sister, you know, and it got out of hand, you know, it really got out of hand. It was too long. Life is too short. And part of finding my higher power was really learning to forgive and also to say that I'm sorry. And I think that, and that was all done. That's part of the magic of the film, I think.
Now, the film also highlights a complicated mother-daughter relationship. It's something that we've seen in previous projects of yours as well. What fascinates you about that dynamic?
Well, for this one, I really wanted to show what the Glenn Close character. A lot of Black people know who this woman is. They've seen this white woman immersed in Black culture. Black people know who she is, but they've never seen her on screen. And I like to give voice to people that, I like to give a voice to people that don't have a voice, for people to, you know, people to see who we see and on the streets, but never see up on screen. And I think this is a first. And I'm so happy that Glenn trusted me enough to do this. I mean, you know, she put on a couple pounds, and then I tightened in that wardrobe, and she said, "Wait, what? What's all this? What's happening here?"
And I love that you pay tribute to your hometown of Philly in this film.
Yeah.
Why is it important for you to always plug your home in your work?
I don't know. I just do it subconsciously, you know. I do it subconsciously. I love Philadelphia. It's very important, but I do.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there and go to the next clip. But here's the thing. Something Lee Daniels didn't come clean about during that interview with this young lady, but he did say, because I read it also, Lee Daniels said that another reason that he wanted the mother to be white and wanted the young lady to be biracial is because he was trying to make differences from the actual story, because he was trying to distance himself from the real event. Okay, because he was scared. Quite frankly, that's what it boils down to. He wanted to make the movie, but he was also at the same time afraid to make the movie. Now, this is my opinion, but you know, he had to be kind of worried because he had a priest come on set to pray for them. Daily, they would pray before shooting. Okay, and so basically, he said that he wanted to distance himself from the actual events that transpired. Okay, so please pay attention. Okay, now this is from the cast.
Things that I read about that I was like, okay, this is deep. You know, nowadays, when there's sex scenes in films, they have an intimacy coach that comes around and makes sure nothing go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's touching where they shouldn't.
Thank you for your donation, Donna. I appreciate you, beloved.
But you had like a religious kind of like person on set, the kind of to do
A deliverer.
deliverances.
Yeah.
Talk
We
about
did,
that.
because I read the making of Exorcist. I read the
Mhm.
making of what was that Poltergeist, and things happen.
Yeah.
And I was not going to let things happen on my set, and also I needed it for me, and so we prayed before every. And there's those of us that don't believe in prayer. There were those that don't, and it was still okay. I think, Glenn, we brought you in, and we prayed. You prayed, and was that your first time sort of experiencing that sort of experience too?
Praying in a circle on a set?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you all something. When he says that he read about things that happened during the making of The Exorcist and Poltergeist, that's absolutely true, because I read those same things years ago. So one of the things that happened was there was the room where the demon-possessed daughter stayed in, or the room where her scenes were filmed, actually caught fire on the set. And also, Lee's going to say something interesting, because what happened to Lee Daniels also happened to one of the producers or the director on The Exorcist Part 3, Legion. Okay, so things will happen when you make movies about these things, because you have to remember you're honing in on a very dark and nefarious energy. And when you call out the devil will cause phenomenon to occur. Even as I watched this movie, I burned sage. And when I show you the videos from where I talked about this on my other channels, when I show you some of the clips, you'll see that I was also burning sage. Okay? Please pay attention.
With somebody with a deliverer who spoke in tongues sometime.
Yes. Mhm.
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
But you would say, okay, we're going to pray now. Anybody want to come? We're going to do it now. So everybody knew what we were doing and they could choose to come or not. And it didn't matter.
Well, okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Monique.
So Lee didn't tell me that there was someone that was going to come to my trailer.
Oh my goodness.
To pray. So when he came to my he said, I'm coming to pray for you. I said, my husband already does that. I'm good.
Thank you. No. He was like, hit me. Don't come over here.
I don't know who this man is. I'm not just
forgot to tell Mo.
I'm praying for you. I said, no, you're not.
That's what he came back and said. He said, she said no. Yeah, but it was really beautiful, and I think that we needed it, and it was needed for it was needed.
It was needed for the storytelling too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's deep, dark stuff, and you gotta have some kind of release, and you gotta have a safe space.
and even with that, there were still things that happened on the set. That was, my sister was is in every movie.
Now listen to what he says happened to his sister. And they're going to talk about some things that happened on the set. Please pay attention.
That I've ever done as my good luck charm, and she was in the scene with Glenn in the chemo scene, and she's the one that sort of gave her attitude in the chemo scene. Girly.
Yes, girly, we love her.
And 2 days later, after being in the chemo scene, she was diagnosed with lung cancer.
What?
Literally, my dog died on the set. When we were putting the she was spraying the demon out, a fire extinguisher. It backfired in her face. It could have put her eye out. It was, yeah, and that's with all the prayer that we have.
I had to go to the hospital.
Go to the hospital. That's right.
Because Mr. Daniels had me doing this scene, okay? And we outside. And it was just, the demon was supposed to be on top of the building. So they kept blowing this, bad. At one point, I'm like, Lee, do we have this shit? Because I can't breathe. They kept blowing. He was like, one more time. So when I got finished, right, my thyroid was a big, it was just sick. Oh, baby. I was like, what kind of shit? So what the Deliverance?
Okay, so there you have it. What do y'all think? Now, I find it very interesting that he said his sister was in the scene because in the movie, Glenn Close had cancer. Okay, that may be a little spoiler, but she was getting her chemotherapy treatments, and his sister was in that scene. And then turns out that she had cancer, was diagnosed the very next day. That's kind of strange. But also, he said his dog died during the making of that movie. And that's the same thing that happened to a man that was directing or producing, like I said, the movie The Exorcist Part 3. His dog, I don't know if it died, but I remember him saying that there was a scene where the person was on their monthly cycle and the person was like bloody, and then he got home that evening and his dog was hemorrhaging. Okay, so I'm sorry, that doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. It's all I'm saying. Now, in my opinion, overall the movie was pretty good. It could have been better. It definitely wasn't what I would call really scary, and that was good for me because I don't like to watch real scary demon movies. Okay, especially not at my house. But Leon said, don't want to stay behind me, get away from me. Okay, I know that's right. Okay, so like I said, the real story is a whole lot scarier than the movie. Okay, so I'm going to go to some clips, like I said, from where I was talking about this on my previous broadcast. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. And for those of you who have seen this, y'all know that some weird stuff was happening to me that night when I was talking about it, okay? And I was burning sage, okay? Like Lee Daniel said, they had someone praying on the set every day, and then things still happened. And here's another thing. With the movie Exorcist,
a couple of people died during that movie, if I'm not mistaken, or shortly after. And then in Poltergeist, let's not forget the little girl that played Lori Ann, I think that was her name, the little blonde girl. She died. Okay, during the making of the second or third one, I believe. There was some other things that happened. Okay, so very strange. All right, so I'm going to play a few clips. Exact says, I literally just watched the movie just this past weekend, and it gave me even more reason to stay prayed up. Facts, okay? Yeah, you got to stay prayed up, okay? Oh, right. Courtney J said that little girl and Dominic Dunn too. Right. Dominic Dunn was Dominic Dunn, the reporter and journalist. She was his daughter. She was 15 years old when her boyfriend strangled her. Okay, she didn't die right away. She like lingered in a coma for a time, but she passed away at the age of 15. Now, she was in the first one. So that's the one person that died during the making of the first one. And then the little girl who played her sister, Lori Ann, died when they were making the second or third one. Okay, they said she had Crohn's disease, and there was some scene where she was in like a cold pool of water or something like that, and it caused her to get sick and she died. Now, I don't think any of it was a coincidence, okay, because it's low vibrational energy that's being raised during the making of these films. Okay, so let me just cue this real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. So I'm going to tell you all, one of the things that was happening to me, and this never happened before or since, when I was telling the story about this movie, or not the movie, but about the true story, the movie wasn't even out. This was years ago. But when I was telling the story about this, as I'm reading the articles, the screen, my computer screen started jumping. Okay, it was jumping really bad, and I could barely read what it was saying, what the words were at some points. And I remember telling the people that were watching, I was like, y'all, this screen is jumping. And then something else funny or strange happened. Okay, it was funny and strange. Okay, so you all are actually going to see it because I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Happened next also was detailed in a DCS report by a family case manager's interviews with medical staff. Chaos erupted. Campbell said Ammons' son cursed Aquinu out in demonic voices, raging at him. Medical staff said the youngest boy was lifted and thrown into the wall with nobody touching him, according to a DCS report. The boy abruptly passed out and wouldn't come to. She cradled one boy in her arms. Ammons held the other. Someone from the doctor's office called 911. Akimbu said 7 or 8 police officers and multiple ambulances showed up. Everyone was, they couldn't figure out exactly what was going on, he recalled. Police and emergency personnel took the boy to Methodist Hospital to their campus in Gary. Ammons said hospital personnel laughed at her desire to anoint the sons with olive oil, so they thought it was a joke. She says, I couldn't talk to them, so I talked to God. The boys woke up in the hospital. The older boy, then 9, acted rationally, but the youngest screamed and thrashed. She said it took 5 men to hold him down. Meanwhile, someone called DCS and asked the agency to investigate Ammons for possible child abuse or neglect. The caller, who is not named in the DCS report, speculated that Ammons might have mental illness. The person believed the children were performing for Ammons, and she was encouraging their behavior. Now, DCS family case manager Valerie Washington was asked to handle the initial investigation. She gave the following account to police in her intake officer's report, and this is what she had to say. Hospital personnel examined Ammons and her children and found them to be healthy and free of marks and bruises. A hospital psychiatrist evaluated Ammons and determined that she was of sound mind. Now, Washington interviewed the family in the hospital. While she spoke with Ammons, the 7-year-old boy started growling with his teeth showing. His eyes rolled back in his head. The boy locked his hands around his brother's throat and refused to let go until adults pried his hands open. Later that evening, Washington and registered nurse Willie Lee Walker brought the 2 boys into a small exam room for an interview. Campbell joined them. The 7-year-old stared into his brother's eyes and began to growl again. "It's time to die," the boy said in a deep, unnatural voice. "I will kill you." While the youngest boy spoke, the older brother started headbutting Campbell in the stomach. Campbell grabbed her grandson's hands and started praying. What happened next would rattle the witnesses, and to some, it would offer not only evidence, but proof of paranormal activity. According to Washington's original DCS reports and accounts corroborated by Walker, the nurse, the 9-year-old had a weird grin and walked backward up a wall to the ceiling. He then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet. He never let go of his grandmother's hand. Say what now? He did all that and he was still holding his grandmother's hand? Okay. He walked up the wall, flipped over her, and stood there, Walker told the Star. There's no way he could have done that. Later, police asked Washington whether the boy had run up the wall as though performing an acrobatic trick. No, Washington told them. She said the boy glided backward on the floor, on the wall, and the ceiling, according to the police report. Washington did not respond to the Star's request for comments, but she told the police she was scared when it happened and ran out of the room. And as for Walker, Washington said, "He ran out of the room with me. We didn't know what was going on. That was crazy. I was like, everybody gotta go." According to Washington's report, they told a doctor what happened. The doctor, who did not believe them, asked the boy to walk up the wall again. Walker said he told the doctor he doubted the boy could repeat the feats. This kid was not himself when he did that, Walker said. The boy said he didn't remember what happened and couldn't do it, according to Washington's report. Walker, who said he previously believed in demons and spirits, thought the boy's behavior had some demonic spirit to it, but also was the result of a mental illness. A police report quoted Washington saying she believed that there could be an evil influence affecting the family. Ammons said she spent the night at the hospital with her 7-year-old son, while Campbell took Ammons' daughter and older son to a relative's home in Gary. The next day was Ammons' youngest son's 8th birthday. Ammons said DCS officials asked Campbell to bring the older children back to the hospital, presumably to talk more about what happened. The family celebrated the boy's birthday by singing and eating a miniature cake. Then Ammons said Washington told them the children wouldn't be going home. DCS took the emergency step of taking custody of the children without a court order. All of the children were experiencing spiritual and emotional distress. Washington wrote this on the DCS forum. Ammons told the Star she and the children cried because they didn't want to be separated. We'd already been through so much, and fought so hard for our lives, she recalled. It was obvious we were a team and we were beating it. Whatever it was, we were fighting it. We made it through together as a team, and they separated us. Now, the Reverend Michael Mingenot was leading Bible study in his living room the morning of April 20th, 2012, when he received a call from a hospital chaplain. Minot had been the priest at St. Stephen Martyr Parish in Maryville for more than 10 years, but had never received a request like this one. The chaplain asked him to perform an exorcism on Ammons' 9-year-old son. McNaught agreed to interview the family after Sunday Mass a few days later. The first step, he said, was ruling out natural causes for what Ammons and her family were experiencing. He visited Ammons and Campbell on the Carolina Street home, April the 22nd of 2012. For 2 hours, Ammons and Campbell detailed the phenomena to him. Then Campbell interrupted the interview to point out a flickering bathroom lights. The flickering stopped each time Manoah walked over to investigate, which he attributed to a demonic presence. It must be scared of me, he later told the Star, that he had thought that. The interview was interrupted again when Campbell pointed out Venetian blinds in the kitchen swinging, even though there was no air currents. Manoah said he also saw wet footprints throughout the living room. Ammons complained about having a headache. Minaj said that she convulsed when he placed the crucifix on her head. After a 4-hour interview, Minaj said he was convinced the family was being tormented by demons. He said he also believed there were ghosts. Ah! Oh my God! Why would you do that? Oh my God! Why did he just sneak in here? Oh my God. Who does that? Oh my God. I am so through. Okay, let me get my heart back. Queen, he scared you red. Yes. Why would he walk in here? That was my son, just so you all know. Creeping in here. I guess he was tiptoeing because he didn't want to interrupt my live. And he's dressed in all black, and all I saw from the side was a shadowy figure. Oh, clearly. I turned my head and you did that. Oh my goodness. That was crazy. Whew, okay, let me get back together, people. Okay, I have clearly lost my place. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. Queen Sam said, damn near sent our queen to the upper room. Okay. That was funny as I don't know what. And literally just now when I screamed, I jumped. Okay, because I didn't know exactly what part it was coming at. Okay. And Talarucci said that was great timing. I know, right? I was just getting into it about the demons. I probably should have played a little bit more because the demon actually told them its name. Now, I believe there was, of course, more than one demon. There usually is. But one of the demons told them its name. Then I refused to say the name as I was reading that because I wasn't trying to conjure it up. Okay, but so now let's go to this other clip because you're going to actually hear from some witnesses in this one. This is what I showed on my spiritual channel where this young man on Twitter, not Twitter, this young man on TikTok did a video about the same story. And then he had some witnesses, or he actually had an interview with Ammons, the mother, Latoya Ammons, and then also a police officer who was there, okay, to say what happened to them. Okay, so likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to cue this video. Okay, here we go. They take as a host and possess. They'll prohibit them from eating. Okay, and in fact, one person years ago who was supposedly possessed by demons, she actually died from malnutrition because the demons were not allowing her to eat. Okay, so I just found that very interesting that he said he had insomnia and he said that he had not eaten anything except for maybe 10 teaspoons of rice. So yeah, that's very strange. Okay, likes up, everyone. Please like and share.
In Indiana, a little boy was possessed by a demon and walked up the wall backwards. So this reaction video, this series, is going to show the accounts of a Catholic priest who was involved, the news were involved, and also CPS, Child Protective Services.
Last night, we told you about a 9-year-old Indiana boy who apparently was doing some very shocking things, so much so that Exorcism was involved. The Indianapolis Star, that state's biggest newspaper, is heavily covering the story, and a captain in the Gary, Indiana Police Force, Charles Austin, says the situation is credible. That is incredible. Joining us now from Chicago, Father Michael Maginot, Catholic priest, who has been dealing with the situation. So, Father, I want to keep this fact-based. What you know, what you saw, what you did. Start with the boy. What do you know about him?
Actually, I have never met any of the children. The first time I heard about the incident was when just after the boy walked up the wall backwards. There was a furor there, people running out, calling for the police, security, the chaplain. He called me. I was in my parish conducting a Bible study class, and I got the call because I was on call for the Catholic priest chaplain who was off at that time. And they called me in to do an exorcism. And I said,
there's someone standing in that window. Did you see
Exorcism is a very rare and serious thing that the Catholic Church, and you have to go through a lot of hoops to get it approved, to get the people in. It disturbs me a little bit that the boy involved, and this is according to the newspaper and other eyewitnesses, was doing incredible things like walking up walls and things like that. But you yourself never talked to the boy. Why not?
He was scared.
Well, when I went to do the interview at the home with the mother and the grandmother, it was a 4-hour interview. And the first 2 hours were basically just getting information of all the occurrences and phenomena that was surrounding everything leading up to that incident at the emergency room in the hospital.
The problem I'm having with this is, number one, you didn't see the boy. I think
you got to cast that demon out in Jesus' name. He didn't know how.
In a tough way now in this country. Exorcism is a very serious thing. Very, very serious. I understand you got permission from the bishop in your diocese to do this. But it just seems to me that the story is not solid enough to go public with it. And there are a lot of people watching right now that say this is more mumbo jumbo.
Okay, so clearly he's playing devil's advocate. All right, and isn't that the guy from Fox News who used to be on Fox News, if I'm not mistaken? But nonetheless, what he's doing is he's playing devil's advocate, and he clearly doesn't believe it. But obviously, he doesn't know anything about exorcisms and things like that, because the Catholic Church would not permit someone to perform an exorcism unless they had proof of some sort of demonic activity, because very often, in some cases, it has proven to just be mental illness, which has the same symptoms of someone possessed by demons. Okay, the only difference is the person possessed by demons will tend to have aversions to holy things like holy water, a crucifix. If you put a cross on their forehead, or if a priest or a nun walks into the room, they get very violent and hostile. Whereas that may not be the case with someone suffering just from simple mental illness. So he's acting as a skeptic and saying that that the situation seems very much so like mumbo jumbo. How does it sound like mumbo jumbo when literally witnesses say that this little boy walked backwards up the wall to the ceiling, did a flip, and then glided across the floor while holding his grandmother's hand? How does that sound like mumbo jumbo to him? The thing of it is what I believe. That's Bill O'Reilly. I thought that was him. Okay. Italia Rucci says he's a fake Christian. Okay. I think that the problem he's having with it is that the priest says that he never met the boy. Well, here's the thing. The priest really couldn't have done a thorough job, because if you're going to perform an exorcism, you can't just go to the residence to do it and think that's the end of it. Okay, you have to cast the demon out, like the man in the video said. You know, the guy who posted the video. You have to cast that demon out in the name of Jesus, and you have to do that by going to the person who's acting as the host, by going to the person who is demon possessed. Now, the fact that the priest didn't do that leads me to think and agree with what the young man said, that he had to have been afraid. Because here's the thing. If your soul isn't right, if your spirit isn't right with the Most High, you cannot cast out demons. Those demons will laugh at you. Okay? They could even take your life. All right, this is a fact. You have to know what you're doing. Okay. Now, I know someone that was demon possessed and they lived in another state, and I myself was going to cast out the demon. Let's not forget that the Queen is an ordained minister, even though I'm not practicing any longer. Okay, but nonetheless, I was going there to cast out that demon. The reason I didn't go is because I was afraid. Why was I afraid? Well, because a couple of days before I was supposed to take the trip to go there, and this person is related to me. Now, the reason I was afraid is because before I went there, like 2 days before I was supposed to go, I had a dream, and you know I have prophetic dreams. I had a dream that I was there with the person trying to cast out the demon, and the demon manifested and grabbed me by the neck, threw me to the floor, and was on top of me and looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You ain't ready for this." And so that's what I knew. Clearly, I'm not ready. Okay, the Most High is telling me not to go. So with that all being said, I canceled the trip. And then I called my uncle, who's a bishop, and I asked him to go instead because he's done this many a time. Okay, and I thought because he could do it, I thought I could do it. I mean, I knew the procedure and everything you have to say and all of that. But I felt like my spirit is not ready because when I woke up from that dream, I was like, okay, this is what is really going to happen if I go. Okay, so I didn't go. Okay, so please pay attention. That priest was afraid. And if he was afraid, he should not have volunteered to go. Okay, he should have gotten someone who was able to do it. Look at all hell no laughing at the queen said, I know that's right. Yes, honey. Okay, I know which battles to fight. All right. Okay, you have to choose your battles wisely is all I'm saying. Now let's continue.
From the Roman Catholic Church and no credibility here at all. Did you answer that?
Well, the two boys and the girl one was put into a lockdown psychological children's ward, and the other two were taken to the Carmelite sisters who take care of foster children.
What did they do?
And so they were taken away from the parents and from the mother and the grandmother, and so I didn't have access to them. And I discovered in the investigation that the mother was also possessed. Mainly at the very end, I put the crucifix on her forehead and she began to convulse.
As a Catholic priest for many years, you believe that there is something unworldly involved with this family. You do believe that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Father.
So there you see the whole family was possessed. The Catholic priest was afraid. He didn't know what to do. You got to cast those demons out in the name of Jesus. You got to have your authority. But if you don't have a relationship with God, bro, you'll be afraid too. So I'm going to do part 2. We're just going to give a little bit more detail about what happened. Comment below and click follow. Let's go.
Ollie and
Okay, so before we continue, I'm gonna play the next part. But before we continue, I'm gonna have a word from my sponsors at 12 Tribe. Likes up, everyone, please. A like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth.
and Anna seemed so perfect. And what people didn't know was she was screaming for help.
They have a whole line.
Okay, so with that all being said, I absolutely agree with him. I think the priest was afraid. And I'm just wondering why he was on the news talking about it.
And hair growth butter.
Because there was actually a priest who came to the house who was there. So I don't know why they didn't have him on. But someone asked in the chat, who saw the little boy do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because nurses and doctors... I'm sorry, I thought I unmuted myself. Okay, so with that being said, you can purchase your 12 Tribes at Etsy.com. Just go to Lisa Crafts and also at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's continue. Symptoms. But the main thing about someone who's demonically possessed is there will be paranormal activity happening around them. And also, they have an aversion to things that are holy, like crucifixes, the Bible, saying the word Jesus, the name Jesus, and things like that. But in some cases, it's very confusing because it almost seems like they could be the same thing. Now, do you remember growing up, our parents used to say, or I've heard it before, that a crazy person has the strength of 10 men? Well, so do demons. They have supernatural strength. Okay? And the reason I'm talking about this is because all of these things are a part of the spiritual realm. Okay, I mean, all a part of the, the spirituality that we talk about. When we say that we're super. Okay, hold on. Okay, D says that the other video was playing during the ad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you all not see the ad? Sorry, beloveds. Sometimes someone did something and it got the whole family cursed. Okay, so did you all see the ad? I didn't realize they were both playing at the same time. I was doing something. Okay, you did. Okay. All right. So let me go back to the share. Sorry about that. Supernatural beings. Well, you have malevolent spirits who are also supernatural beings. And when we talk about spirituality, well, these demons and malevolent spirits also, can travel to the spiritual realms and things like that. At the end of the day, this is why we have spiritual warfare. When you have these malevolent spirits that are attacking a person, okay, that person is under spiritual attack. That is spiritual warfare. Okay.
So trending on my page right now is about the little boy who was possessed that climbed up the wall backward. This is the real home, and it was in Gary, Indiana. This article is from June 4th, 2021. It was called The Demon House. Now, in 2014, Ghost Adventures host Zach Bagans paid $35,000 for the home, believed that it was possessed by evil spirits. And then 2 years later, they had the home demolished, but it still is a living legend in that town because Zach told in an interview that there was something there that was very dark, yet highly intelligent and powerful. Evil spirits are fallen angels, and they are very intelligent, but you have authority over them in the name of Jesus. Here's the story. Latoya Ammons rented the home on Carolina Street, November 2011 and 12. She claimed her lives were thrown into chaos because there were nearly 1,000 pages of official records from interviews with police, psychologists, and priests, and everything was documented and it was even on the news. So they started by experiencing footsteps coming from the basement. Flies would appear all the time and they would kill them. Their kids started having encounters with demons. The ages was 7, 9, and 12. This is so sad. Around 2 a.m., March 10th, their granddaughter, 12-year-old granddaughter, was levitating over the bed. The son used to sit in the closet talking to people that wasn't there, and he would be having a conversation with this unseen presence. Now, when CPS came to do a checkup, the 7-year-old boy got this weird grin on his face, and it was holding grandma's hands and walked up the wall backwards and flipped over, and they saw his feet without any force just sliding across the room. CPS took the children from the mother and found out later that there was no psychological issues with the kids, and that's a sad story. I want to tell you, if you're experiencing stuff like this in your home, you need to ask Jesus to come into your heart, take authority over those spirits, and curse them and cast them out in Jesus' name. You have authority over every evil spirit. If you believe in Jesus, comment below and click follow.
Instead of having your business run your life, drowning in work, like I did when I first started my business, I want to tell you about a better way. I'm Laura.
Then meets the third eye.
This is the other side of that window.
There are reports that there was a residue that would come down the blinds. It was horrible.
This is the woman who lived in the House of Horrors with her 3 children before Zach Bagans
Latoya
bought it.
Ammons.
Latoya Ammons fought back tears when she told us how they fled in terror.
They
after
took her kids
daughter
away.
Was raised right off her bed. She says the demons sounded like this.
We've waited 5 months. It sounded like something dead.
She says she anointed the rooms with holy
It
oil
is like
and read aloud from the Bible. But the nightmare went on, and listened to a sound that cannot be explained by police who looked into the mysterious goings on. While 2 cops are talking in the basement, someone can be heard saying, "Hey." Embrace yourself for what Latoya says happened to her son when she and her mom took him to the hospital. It's right out of the movie Poltergeist.
He walked up the wall and did the backwards flip.
How did everybody in the hospital react to your son walking up the wall?
They took off and they ran.
I bet they ran.
The doctor from the psych ward said that's not real. That's not human. No human
terrible.
can do that.
Speaking
Whole
of
family
deep,
was
mysterious
possessed.
voices,
You in there?
those are the chilling words Captain Charles Austin will never forget. The 36-year veteran of the Gary, Indiana Police Department had just finished investigating strange occurrences in the house and was in his patrol car talking on the phone when he says something bizarre happened.
All of a sudden, while I'm involved in this conversation,
the AM FM radio went to static and turned up very loud. And it said, "You in there?" And the person on the phone say,
I bet
"What
it
the hell
scared
was that?"
him.
And I say, "I don't know."
What was your reaction?
I was in shock.
Exorcism te un bendissime.
Enter Father
What is
Michael
that
Machino,
doing?
a local priest who got permission from the
He
Bishop
was
of Gary,
afraid.
Indiana, to perform an exorcism on LaToya. Did you at one point believe this house was the portal to hell?
There was a portal.
That's why he never
Moved out
prayed
of
for the little
house
boy. He
and
was
now lives
scared.
many miles away. Her story is hard to believe. Some people claim that you made this all up, that this was some sort of an elaborate hoax. Is this a hoax? No.
For those of you who think the devil doesn't exist, I'm here to tell you that the devil is real, but we don't have fear through Christ Jesus. All you got to do is open up your heart and your mouth and say, "I believe Jesus, come into my heart." It's as simple as that.
Okay, now with that all being said, the lady said people were saying that she made it all up. It was a hoax. What would be the purpose of the hoax? What would be the point of doing something like that? And if it were a hoax, how did he walk up the wall backwards at the same time he was holding his grandmother's hand? Now that clip you saw of somebody walking up on the wall rolling over, that was a clip from a movie. I think it was the movie Poltergeist or something like that. But this is all crazy. Okay, so there you all have it, honey. That was a whole scary thing. And listen, you're going to always have some naysayers, but what I would have done had I been the mother, I would have told all of the naysayers who were saying that she made it up as some elaborate hoax, well, you take your behind and go stay in that house for a night, okay, and tell me what you think. That's what I would have told them, honey, okay? Because who's making that up? At the end of the day, the police even put in their report that there was paranormal activity. And you heard what that police officer said that he heard, okay, when he was sitting in the car. And also when they walked down to the basement, there was some sort of slimy substance on the floor. And nobody knew what it was. Okay, it's all nefarious. And here's the thing. You know, I think possibly that those demons may still be with that family. And Lee Daniels apparently thinks so too. That's why he didn't want to meet that woman in person. I don't want to meet her in person either. Okay, because at the end of the day, here's the thing. Demons can follow you. Now, unless there is a clear-cut exorcism, a deliverance performed to rid the person and the residents of said demons, those people can move all they want. But the demons will still be there. They can follow you, okay? They can literally follow you. They're not relegated to any specific place. If you get up and pack your stuff and leave, they can leave right behind you, okay? And that is a fact. Also, the house was demolished. Now, the guy who was a paranormal storyteller or whatever he was into that purchased the house for, I think it was like $35,000, he even sold the house. Okay, so what does that tell you? Someone who's into that sort of stuff sold the house. So he must have been pretty scared. He said there was something very powerful and with a high level of intelligence there. Now, once the house was demolished, now they say that the land surrounding the house where it was is still experiencing demonic and paranormal activity. So it's still there. Okay, is all I'm saying. And here's another thing too. Though the family may not have had any demonic or paranormal experiences as of late, those demons could still be somewhere just watching and waiting, because sometimes what they will do is lie dormant to give you a sense of security. So you'll think that they're gone away. And then when you least expect it, they can pop right back up. Okay, they can pop right back up. Now, I hope that isn't the case, but that absolutely can happen. And another thing I'll say is in the movie, and I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but in the movie, there was a scene where someone was telling the mother about, who was played by Andra Day, but they were telling her about the previous family who lived in the house. And so they were showing it, having flashbacks, and she spoke about it. And one thing that I caught was the father that lived there previously, they called him Ammons. So they really named him after the Ammons family. Okay, that's what they did. And I know most people probably didn't catch that because they probably didn't know the true story or whom it was based off of. Okay, Queen Sam said all it takes is some negative energy and they'll reappear. Exactly. Okay, Terry Jones said, demons circling the black, shaking my head. Oh, circling the block. Okay, circling the block, shaking my head. Right. Mr. Elevation said, was it on a burial ground? You know, I don't know. I mean, there are many things that can draw demonic activity. Someone could be engaging in things that are, you know, abominations to the Most High, like doing illegal substances, engaging in corn with a P. Okay, that's a sure way. All right, Leon said, I believe in light, not darkness. Well, I believe in both. I believe in both, beloved. Not believing in them is not going to make them not exist. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so with that all being said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Listen, the movie, like I said, the movie was pretty good. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 7.5. Okay, the movie could have been a little better. At the end of the day, I would like for it to have been more closer to the actual story. That would have definitely made it more scary. But as I said, Lee Daniels wanted to distance himself from it, okay, because he was afraid. And here's the thing. Lee Daniels had this movie for quite some time before he chose to make it. He actually had this movie right after he made Precious. And he didn't make it back then because his mother told him not to. Because his mother was afraid of those demons attacking him or something bad happening if he made it. So he literally sat on the movie for all those years. Because how long ago did Precious come out? About 2009. And if you didn't see the movie, The Reading, which Lee Daniels hired Monique to play the lead role. Now, that movie was really good. And I think The Reading was a lot better than this movie. Okay, The Reading was a lot better than this movie. Okay, so with that all been said, hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. And here's the thing. Let me just say this too. For anybody who's going to watch the movie, if you're scary, you should probably watch it in the daytime. But if you're going to watch it, you might want to burn you some sage is all I'm saying, okay? Because I burned sage when I watched it. I burned sage when I watched it, all right? And so, because you don't want to invite any negative spirits into your home. Because you know that things can come to your home through the television and radio and things like that. Those are portals. And if you all remember when I did the review on the Netflix movie about Jeffrey Dahmer, I believe it was called Jeffrey Dahmer Monster. When I did a review on that movie, I told you guys that there was a scene in the movie where Dahmer went into a trance when he was watching the movie The Exorcist. Okay. And he started chanting something. Well, I already knew that part was coming. I can't remember how I knew, if I just had a premonition or read it or something, but whatever. When it got to that part, I absolutely muted the TV because whatever that chant was, I didn't want to hear it. And just so you all know, some of these nefarious people will send things out to you like witchcraft, okay, all sorts of things through television. There was an actress, and I can't remember her name, but it was an actress who played on some show, and she said that she used to actually do witchcrafts and spells during the show. So if you're watching that show, those spells are being cast. Okay, and that can be invited into your home. And then she said she stopped doing it when some real witches reached out to her and told her she was playing with fire. And also, for those of you who follow my spiritual channel, you know that on yesterday's broadcast, I talked about the truth and lies about voodoo. And I showed a video of Rick Ross, who claims that he does voodoo and that he's done voodoo, and how they would, sacrifice a goat and all of that. And while he's telling the story, he tells the guy sitting next to him to do voodoo so that anybody's watching will have the voodoo on them. And at that point, I ended the video because we don't need voodoo on us. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, and so I cut it off before he could do it. All right, and so you have to be careful is all I'm saying. Now, with that all been said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I will be live on the backup channel at 10 after 10. Okay, you got about 15 minutes. And so each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your life. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me?
Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got